Hi, my name is Kate Madden, and I'm a sales and marketing expert who lives in Calgary, Alberta. I'm passionate about community, creativity, and collaboration. I also happen to be a transgender woman. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 things that I really love about transition, and I know you will too. So before I talk about the 5 things, I just want to mention 3 really cool things that happened today. Number 1, Tom Brady won yet another Super Bowl. If you've got a problem with that, if you don't think he's the greatest of all time, that's a character flaw on your part, not his. To have that level of consistency over that period of time is truly a remarkable feat across any endeavor that I'm not sure will be matched again, at least as long as I live. Another cool thing that happened today was it was super cold, minus 39 with the wind chill. So I just hung out at home with my kids, really cabin fever, but it was just a lot of really great quality time that I got to spend with my kids this weekend, where we were on top of each other and just enjoying being with each other. And then the final really cool thing that happened was I picked up this darkroom stuff for free from someone just down the road. He was clearing out his darkroom in his studio and was giving this stuff away. And what I really wanted was the developing tank, which for someone who started in film in 1990 at my high school, it was something that I really felt I needed just to fire up the creative spark again. But had a lot of other cool things. I really like this safety light. I think that's a lot of fun. And a film loader, which can take 30 meters or 90 feet worth of film. So yeah, I'm looking forward to shooting some more film through the winter and spring. But what was interesting about that was I walked into his studio and he had these beautiful landscapes through his house, like gorgeous museum quality, gallery caliber landscapes, the kind that people on Instagram wish they could take. He did it with just his camera, no filters. He was in his 70s, maybe early 80s, and obviously had been a photographer his whole life. And I walked into his studio and he had all these portraits on the wall, like an entire wall full of portraits. And he had some really artistic portraits. And then the headshots were some of the most prominent and conservative politicians in Western Canada over the last 25 years. Names that you would recognize. So obviously, he was a very well-connected individual. He was a lawyer, and photography was just his hobby. But it was interesting being there as a visibly trans person and walking into this room where there's this giant headshot of this individual who, while not a politician, may or may not be a party member of one of the local parties, wherein he's comparing the pride flag to swastikas and speaking out very vocally about gay-straight alliances and whether or not they actually have any meaningful impact. They save lives. I'll just leave it at that. We didn't talk about politics, but we were able to engage as photographers and just talk about art and portraiture, landscape and film. And it was really cool just to have that universal equalizer that art can create, and that connection point where maybe we're coming at things from a different angle, perhaps, especially from the social issues and moral issues of our communities, but to just be there as a normal photographer talking about how to use this stuff, as well as looking at his brand new Z7 which I gotta say, if I had $4,000, I'd probably get 2. But anyhow, 3 cool things that happened today. So the number one thing that I've really found to enjoy about transition is the way relationships have changed, specifically either with new relationships or old relationships that have deepened. You're finally here, you're finally present, and you're able to engage in a way that is authentic. And people love you and want to love you. And now you're free to love them in a way that isn't blocked by that dysphoria. And so for me to, yes, have people exit my life or to have people change in their relationship to me, I've also had new people enter my life, and really wonderful people too. And so I think that prior to transition or prior to committing to transition, you're really held back in a way that you don't fully realize until once that blockage is removed. The number 2 thing that I've enjoyed about transition is a new understanding of yourself. And so I live about an hour from the Rocky Mountains, and in the hiking world or mountaineering world, you read about something called a false summit. And what the false summit is as you're going up the mountain, you can see the summit or what you think to be the summit, and when you get there, you find out, no, it's actually another 300 meters or 150 meters, and you have to do that much more work because you had set yourself up for the false summit, emotionally, physically. You just had to make it to there, and then you get there and you've got that much more work to do. And so I thought transitioning socially, professionally, that would be the end. And I do consider my transition complete in that all of my legal documents are changed, gender markers are changed. I live and work as myself, and I'm really happy with myself in that normal sense of day-to-day life. But what I found in the immediate wake of the transition was that there's so much more I needed to work on. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I have, or that we have as trans people, that not a lot of individuals either seek or engage in, where you get to rebuild yourself in a way that is brand new, in a way that you can really find out who you are, what you want, what you're about, what are your values, and are the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, do they align with those values? And what if you need to readjust your values? And the way you were living your life previously were for somebody else or something else. And so you get this opportunity to break that all down in a very profound way, and then build yourself up again. Transition is this invitation, and I am reminded of this book I read in the 80s, a science fiction novel called Millennium, and in it they talk about how the closing line, it's not the end or the beginning of the end, rather it's the end of the beginning. And I think that's really kind of a cool way to look at transitions. You had the beginning, and now you have the rest of your life. So that's the number 2 thing, the new understanding of yourself that I've really come to love about transition. I hope you will too.
Yeah, do you know what's the best thing?
Number 3, and this is really a topic that I could do a whole video on, so I'll try to compress it as much as I can, but it's the exploration of identity and expression from both a gender and a sexual nature. And so, very quickly, gender is who you go to bed as, and sex is who you go to bed with, if that makes sense. What I've enjoyed is just that aspect of exploration. And if you're married, I'm sorry, between 2/3 and 3/4 of you watching this will not have your spouse join you on this journey. I wanted to stay married, but I'm grateful for the liberation of the separation, in that I was able to really discover myself as a queer woman. And I'm not sure I would have been able to do that within the boundaries of marriage and the relationship that was there, and the respect of that relationship. And so I've been given this fantastic, tremendous gift to explore myself, where transition enables that exploration. So when you're considering identity and expression as two separate things, typically at work I present myself very professionally, very feminine. I want to be taken seriously, but my identity might be something a little bit different, and some days veers closer to the non-binary than the binary. And I'm so grateful to the non-binary people I have met, or whom I'm able to follow online and hear their experiences, and they've really stretched me and helped me to understand what the difference is between identity and expression. And from a sexuality perspective, hormones do a number on you, and I've read it online, I've experienced it myself. It's different for everyone, your mileage may vary. Hormones really changed my understanding of sexuality and my experience of sex in a way that I feel I've been switched into receive mode from transmit, if that makes any sense at all. But I've really enjoyed it, actually. So it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters. But transition really helped me to explore, or enabled me to explore, the world of dating and sex in a much different way than I had been able to before, whether it's with a man or with a woman. And it's a lot of fun to just figure stuff out, especially in your 40s. You developed a confidence in a lot of your experiences, and now you're having to learn all over again. And so I really enjoyed that. So really quickly, just that exploration of identity and expression with regards to gender and sexuality has been the third thing that I've really enjoyed about transition, and I think you're going to as well. Number 4, I did a video on this a few weeks ago about the queer community, and I'll figure out how to put a link somewhere around here. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'll figure it out in post. But the number 4 thing I've really enjoyed about transition is the community. And so I look to the greater queer community as kind of my home base, and the smaller trans world, the trans umbrella that exists under that larger queer umbrella. And the people that I've met have really been amazing. And most people within that greater queer community, and especially in the trans world, the trans community, we had to pay a price to get there. There is nothing easy about any of this, and coming out changes people's perception of you, or changes their reception of you, rather, would be a better way to put it. And we've all paid a price, and we've all lost something to get here, by and large. And it's wonderful to hear positive coming out stories, but it's not the norm in what I've seen. Although the queer community is working very hard in very positive ways to make that happen. And so there's a common experience of a number of different things, and the articulation of that experience is different for sure, but we all arrive at the same place, which is specifically to live and love authentically, and to be able to engage in a way that is awesome in that capacity, just an authentic manner of living and loving as ourselves with each other. And I think for me, that's been the fourth thing that I've really enjoyed about transition. And a short addendum to that is just developing an understanding of chosen family. The fifth thing about transition that I've really loved, is the hope, the sense of hope that tomorrow brings, today brings. And you get to wake up with a sense of excitement and adventure, because every experience is new. But more importantly, whether you're stressed, whether you're dealing with something terrible, or whether you're having a great day, the really important thing, and the thing that enables that hope, is that you're feeling normal. You're not crippled by dysphoria. You're not constantly thinking about if only things were like this, or things were like that, if I was living this way, if I was doing that and not this. The energy it took to maintain a facade and to distract yourself from that dysphoria is no longer there. It's no longer required. And so you're normal. Yeah, I get stressed. There's some days where I'm sure I'm depressed. There's other days where it's sunshine and lollipops, but through it all, the baseline is that sense of normal. And that's what gives me the greatest hope going into the future, is that I don't have to be held down by the weight of dysphoria and the different ways in which I tried to either disassociate from that or depersonalize from the various situations I found myself in. So yeah, honey, you're experiencing normal now, and I gotta say, it's probably the best part of transition. I know I've enjoyed it, I've loved it, and I know you're going to as well. So, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've found it useful, please subscribe and like, share it. Did I miss anything? Is there something you would add? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Share your thoughts. I'd be curious to hear. If you're not comfortable sharing them publicly, send me a message and we can engage that way. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.